2019 Washington Nationals postseason. In 2019, the Washington Nationals advanced to the World Series for the first time in franchise history and also Washington, D.C.'s first appearance in the World Series since the American League's Senators in 1933. They proceeded to defeat the Houston Astros in 7 games to win the franchise's first World Series championship and the first for Washington, D.C. since 1924. Game log. Wild card game, October 1. Scherzer walked the Brewers' first batter, right fielder Trent Grisham, and then gave up a home run in the next Milwaukee at-bat to catcher Yasmani Grandal. In the second inning, Milwaukee first baseman Eric Thames led off with a solo home run, and the Nationals trailed 3-0. Against Milwaukee starter Brandon Woodruff, the Nationals managed only 2 hits, although one of them was a home run that shortstop Trea Turner hit in the bottom of the third to cut Milwaukee's lead to 3-1. In the bottom of the 8th inning, Milwaukee closer Josh Hader came in for a potential 6-out save. Michael A. Taylor pinch hit for Strasburg and reached first when the umpiring crew ruled that a pitch which appeared either to have hit Taylor or the knob of his bat had in fact hit him, and a Brewers challenge resulted in that decision being upheld. Ryan Zimmerman hit a broken bat single to center, advancing Taylor to third. After Andrew Stevenson came in to pinch run for Zimmerman, Anthony Rendon walked on a full count to load the bases. Juan Soto then singled to right, and outfielder Trent Grisham misplayed the ball. By the time Soto was tagged out between second and third to end the inning, Soto, with his back to the play and unsure whether the throw was going to home or third, pulled up between bases to bait the Brewers into catching him in a rundown, thus ensuring that Rendon would score the go-ahead run before Soto could be tagged out. Daniel Hudson then closed for the Nats, giving up 1 hit in a scoreless 9th inning and earning a save to lock down a 4-3 victory. Division Series. Game 1, October 3. The Dodgers scored their first run in the first inning without ever putting the ball in play. Catcher Yan Gomes had a passed ball, and Corbin became only the second pitcher ever to walk 4 batters in the first inning of his first postseason appearance. Corbin then retired 7 of the next 8 Los Angeles batters. Corbin allowed consecutive singles to second baseman Max Muncy and shortstop Corey Seager to start the 4th inning, although he kept Los Angeles from adding to its lead. In the 5th inning, however, he walked center fielder Cody Bellinger with 2 outs and gave up a single to right fielder Chris Taylor that advanced Bellinger to third, after which Kendrick committed another error on a Muncy grounder that allowed Bellinger to score and stake Los Angeles to a 2-0 lead. Taylor was thrown out at home to end the inning. Corbin left the game after 6 innings, having thrown 107 pitches, 62 for strikes, and striking out 9 Dodgers while walking 5 and giving up 3 hits. For the Dodgers, Buehler allowed only 1 base runner on a second-inning single by left fielder Juan Soto through the first 3 innings. The Nats threatened to tie the game at 1-1 in the 4th inning when right fielder, like Corbin, Buehler pitched 6 innings. He walked 3, struck out 8, allowed only 1 hit, and threw 100 pitches, 62 of them strikes. He retired the last 7 batters he faced and left the game with a 2-0 lead. Against Los Angeles relievers Adam Kolarek, Kent Amida, and Joe Kelly, the Nationals' offense managed only more hit, a double by shortstop Trea Turner in the 9th, their only base runner after the 4th inning. The Dodgers' pitching staff finished with a combined 13 strikeouts, giving up only 3 walks. The Washington bullpen fared poorly, allowing 4 hits, 2 walks, and 4 earned runs over 2 innings of work. With 1 out in the 7th, Nationals reliever Tanner Rainey making the first postseason appearance of his career walked pinch hitter Jock Pederson and gave up a single to third baseman Justin Turner. Fernando Rodney came in to relieve Rainey, walked Taylor to load the bases, and allowed a 2-out single to Muncy that scored Bellinger and Turner and stretched the Dodgers' lead to 4-0. In the eighth inning, Hunter Strickland gave up two solo homers to pitch hitter Gavin Lux and Pedersen. The Dodgers shut out the Nationals on 2 hits and won 6-0 to take a 1-0 series lead. Los Angeles extended its winning streak to 8 games, dating back into the regular season, while Washington's winning streak in the regular season and postseason combined ended at 9. Game 2, October 4. 9:37 p.m. EDT at Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles, California. Starting for Los Angeles, 3-time Cy Young Award winner Clayton Kershaw had a rocky first inning, giving up a double to Washington's leadoff hitter, shortstop Trea Turner, on the first pitch of the game. He then issued a one-out walk to third baseman Anthony Rendon and hit left fielder Juan Soto with a pitch to load the bases. Second baseman Howie Kendrick singled to drive in Turner from third base before Kershaw got out of the first inning without further damage. In the second inning, Kershaw hit the Nats' leadoff hitter, center fielder Victor Robles, with a pitch, and Robles reached second on a sacrifice bunt by pitcher Steven Strasburg. Right fielder Adam Eaton drove in Robles with a single, and Rendon doubled to score Eaton and make the score 3-0. Over the next 4 innings, Kershaw only gave up 2 more hits, and he finished his outing with 4 strikeouts and a walk, having given up 3 runs on 6 hits in 6 innings of work. Strasburg had thrown 34 pitches in relief during the wild-card game 3 days earlier, but returned to the mound to start Game 2 for the Nationals on the shortest rest between appearances of his career. Retiring the first 14 batters he faced, he pitched a perfect game through 4 + 2/3 innings, no Dodger reaching first base until catcher Will Smith singled with 2 outs in the 5th inning. Strasburg's 23-game postseason scoreless streak, which dated back to the 2014 National League Division Series, finally came to an end in the 6th inning when Dodgers pinch hitter Matt Beattie singled, advanced to third on a double by right fielder Jock Pedersen, and scored on a sacrifice fly by third baseman Justin Turner. With the Nats winning 3-1, Strasburg left the game after throwing 85 pitches over 6 innings of 3-hit, 1-run ball, issuing no walks, and striking out 10 Dodgers. He lowered his career postseason ERA to 0.64, passing Dodgers great Sandy Koufax, who was in the stands at Dodger Stadium for Game 2 for the best career postseason ERA in history for a pitcher, with at least 4 postseason starts. By the time he completed his outing, Strasburg had allowed only 1 run and struck out 14 batters over 9 innings of work during the 2019 postseason. For his career, he had pitched 28 postseason innings, striking out 38, walking only 4, and allowing his opponents a batting average of only 192. The Dodgers closed to a 3-2 deficit when first baseman Max Muncy hit a 413-foot 126 solo homer off reliever Sean Doolittle in the 7th inning. In the top of the 8th inning, the Nationals extended their lead to 4-2 when first baseman Ryan Zimmerman doubled, advanced to third on a sacrifice bunt by Robles, and scored on an Asdrubal Cabrera pinch hit single. Robles left the game after his bunt with what Nationals manager Dave Martinez described postgame as a minor hamstring issue. Martinez surprised Dodgers manager Dave Roberts by bringing Max Scherzer, who Martinez had earlier announced as the starter for Game 3, to pitch the bottom of the 8th in Game 2, making the 4th postseason relief appearance of his career. Scherzer struck out the side on 14 pitches, hitting 99 miles per hour, 159 km/h despite. In the bottom of the 9th, Daniel Hudson came in to close for Washington, with the Nationals still leading 4-2. Justin Turner led off against Hudson with a ground rule double, but then Hudson struck out left fielder A.J. Pollock, and Anthony Rendon made a twisting, turning catch, falling to the ground to grab a pop fly to shallow left field by center fielder Cody Bellinger for the 2nd out. Martinez then made a risky decision, intentionally walking the hot-hitting Muncy and bringing the potential winning run to the plate in the form of Will Smith. Hudson walked Smith on 4 pitches to load the bases before striking out shortstop Corey Seager for the final out. Washington's pitching staff combined to strike out 17 Dodgers, and the Nationals won 4-2, snapping an 8-game Dodgers winning streak dating back into the regular season and evening the series at 1-1. Game 3, October 6, 7:45 p.m. EDT at Nationals Park in Washington, D.C. D.C. Washington, D.C. Nationals manager Dave Martinez originally planned. Sanchez got into a bases-loaded jam in the first inning on 2 walks and a single, but he kept Los Angeles from scoring until the 5th inning, when first baseman Max Muncy hit a solo home run. Meanwhile, the Nationals, with center fielder Victor Robles sitting out the game with a minor hamstring injury, jumped on Dodgers starter Hyun-Jin Ryu in the first inning when Adam Eaton walked and left fielder Juan Soto hit a 2-run homer, Washington's first homer of the series. Ryu left the game after 5 innings, with the Nationals leading 2-1. He had given up 4 hits and 2 walks and struck out 3 during his outing. Sanchez also pitched 5 very effective innings and scattered 4 hits, with 9 strikeouts and a walk. By the end of the 5th, he had thrown 87 pitches and faced the Dodgers lineup twice, and statistics showed that his performance tended to decline if he faced an opponent's order a 3rd time, so Martinez took him out of the game. Not believing he could rely on his middle relievers to preserve close leads, Washington's bullpen had finished the regular season with the worst ERA in the National League. Martinez brought in starter Patrick Corbin to pitch what turned. Pitching on 3 days of rest after throwing 107 pitches in 6 innings in Game 1 and making his first relief appearance since a single appearance in relief for the Arizona Diamondbacks during the 2017. Corbin gave up a single to the Dodgers' leadoff hitter, center fielder Cody Bellinger, but followed that by striking out shortstop. Then Corbin's slider failed him, and his outing unraveled. Pinch hitter David Freese singled, advancing Bellinger to 3rd, and catcher Russell Martin doubled on a 2-2 count, scoring Bellinger and Freese to give Los Angeles a 3-2 lead. Corbin walked pinch hitter Chris Taylor on 5 pitches, then gave up a double on a 1-2 count to pinch hitter Enrique Hernandez that scored Martin and Taylor and stretched the Dodgers' lead to 5-2. The Nationals then intentionally walked Muncy before taking Corbin out of the game after 35 pitches over 2/3 of an inning. Wander Suero relieved Corbin and faced 3rd baseman Justin Turner, who worked the count full and then hit a 3-run homer to make the score 8-2. Bellinger followed with a double before Suero induced a groundout by Seager to bring the inning to a close. 11 Dodgers had come to the plate, and Los Angeles became the first MLB team in history to score 7 two-out, 2-strike runs in a single postseason inning. Despite the shocking turn of events in the top of the 6th, the Nationals staged a rally in the bottom of the inning. Joe Kelly came in to pitch in relief for Los Angeles and was ineffective, issuing consecutive walks to 3rd baseman Anthony Rendon and left fielder Juan Soto before giving up a single to 2nd baseman Howie Kendrick that loaded the bases with no outs. Kelly then threw a wild pitch, allowing Rendon to score from 3rd and the other runners to move up, and walked catcher Yan Gomes to load the bases again. Julio Urias relieved Kelly and faced pinch hitter Asdrubal Cabrera, who hit a sacrifice fly that scored Soto from 3rd but turned into a double play when Kendrick was thrown out trying to tag at 2nd and reach 3rd. Nearly an hour after it began, the 6th inning finally ended when center fielder Michael A. Taylor popped out, ending the Nationals' rally with the score 8-4. In the 7th inning, Nationals reliever Fernando Rodney gave up a double to Freese and a walk to Martin with 1 out, then walked Hernandez with 2 outs to load the bases, but got out of the inning without the Dodgers adding to their lead. In the 9th inning, however, Hunter Strickland came in to pitch and gave up 2 more runs to Los Angeles against the first 2 batters he faced, surrendering a single to Freese and a 2-run homer to Martin. The Dodgers won 10-4, and took a 2-1 lead in the series. Game 4, October 7, 6:40 p.m. EDT at Nationals Park in Washington, D.C. After Alexander Ovechkin, team captain of the National Hockey League's Washington Capitals, threw the ceremonial first pitch, Max Scherzer took the mound at Nationals Park as the Nats faced elimination in Game 4. He gave up a 2-out solo home run to third baseman Justin Turner in the top of the first inning on his 10th pitch of the game, but through the 6th inning gave up only 2 more hits, allowing the Dodgers no further runs. Over one stretch from the 2nd to the 7th inning, he retired 14 of the 15 batters he faced. Behind 1-0 early on the Justin Turner homer, the Nationals mounted their first scoring threat against Los Angeles starter Rich Hill in the 3rd inning, starting in center field for the second straight game while Victor Robles continued his recovery from his minor hamstring injury. In Game 2, Michael A. Taylor led off with a walk. Shortstop Trea Turner followed with a 1-out single that advanced Taylor to third. Right fielder Adam Eaton walked to load the bases, and third baseman Anthony Rendon scored Taylor from third on a sacrifice fly to tie the game at 1-1. Left fielder Juan Soto walked to load the bases again before Kentameter relieved Hill and got second baseman Howie Kendrick to ground out to end the inning. The game remained a 1-1 tie until Washington's offense broke out in the bottom of the 5th inning. Julio Urias came in to pitch for Los Angeles, and Trea Turner promptly singled and advanced to third on a sacrifice bunt by Eaton. Rendon then singled, scoring Turner and giving the Nationals their first lead at 2-1. With 2 outs, Kendrick singled, advancing Rendon to third, and Pedro Baez replaced Urias on the mound. Then first baseman Ryan Zimmerman, in his 15th season with Washington and playing amid speculation among fans and the press that he could be playing his final game at Nationals Park, came to bat and hit Baez's second pitch for Hund. Catcher Kurt Suzuki followed with a walk, and Taylor with a single that advanced Suzuki to second before Scherzer, the 9th man. The Nationals added to their lead in the bottom of the 6th when Turner led off with a ground rule double off Dodgers reliever Ross Stripling, advanced to third on a Stripling wild pitch, and scored on another Rendon sacrifice fly to make the score 6-1. Finally tiring with 1 out in the 7th inning, Scherzer allowed a single to left fielder Matt Beattie and walked second baseman Gavin Lux and catcher Will Smith, but, with the bases loaded, he struck out pinch hitter Chris Taylor and induced a groundout by right fielder Jock Pederson, who narrowly missed a bases-clearing double or triple when he drove Scherzer's first pitch. At the end of the inning, Scherzer left the game after 109 pitches, 72 of them strikes, allowing only 4 hits, walking 3, and striking out 7. During the remainder of the game, each team managed only 1 single. Sean Doolittle and Daniel Hudson combined to pitch a scoreless final 2 innings for Washington, and the Nationals won 6-1, evening the series at 2-2 and forcing a decisive Game 5 at Dodger Stadium 2 nights later. With entire sections in the upper deck nearly empty, Game 4 was the first playoff game in the history of Nationals Park that did not sell out, drawing only 36,847 fans, filling the stadium to only 89% of its capacity. It was one of 3 MLB Division Series games that did not sell out that day. The NLDS game at St. Louis and the 2019 American League Division Series game at Tampa Bay also did not sell out. Game 5, October 9, 8:37 p.m. EDT at Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles, California, Angeles, California. The Nationals opened Nationals Park to fans for a free watch party, televising the game on the stadium's scoreboard for Game 5, which took place 2,500 miles 4,000 km away at Dodger Stadium. It was Washington's 3rd elimination game in 8 days, and since moving to Washington, the team had lost all 3 times it had played in Game 5 of a National League Division Series previously. Making his 3rd postseason appearance, Steven Strasburg started, and Los Angeles jumped on him early. Right fielder Jock Pederson hit a leadoff ground rule double, and the next Dodgers batter, second baseman Max Muncy, previously 0 for -12 against Strasburg, connected on Strasburg's eighth pitch of the game for a two-run homer over the center field. Strasburg continued to labor in the first, giving up a walk and a single before inducing shortstop Corey Seager to ground into an inning-ending double play without allowing Los Angeles to add to its lead. In the second inning, however, Dodgers left fielder Enrique Hernandez led off with a solo homer to center on Strasburg's second pitch of the inning to give Los Angeles an early 3-0 lead. It was Hernandez's third home run in 6 career at-bats against Strasburg. Strasburg was far more effective after that, scattering 3 more singles and leaving the game after 6 innings, with the score still 3-0. Throwing 105 pitches, he allowed 6 hits, struck out 7, and walked only 1 Dodger. Tanner Rainey and Patrick Corbin combined to pitch a perfect 7th inning in relief of Strasburg. He left the game having thrown 224 pitches in the 2019 postseason, more than any other MLB pitcher through the end of the 4-division series. The Nationals' offense had less success against Dodgers starter Walker Buehler, who had one-hit Washington in 6 innings of work 6 days earlier in Game 1. This time, Buehler allowed only a single to first baseman Ryan Zimmerman and a walk to Strasburg during the first 4 innings. The Nationals mounted their first scoring threat in the 5th inning when catcher Kurt Suzuki led off with a walk and center fielder Michael A. Taylor, starting for the 3rd straight game in place of the injured Victor Robles, followed with a single that advanced Suzuki to second, but Buehler struck out Strasburg and shortstop Trea Turner and got right fielder Adam Eaton to fly. The Nationals finally broke through against Buehler in the 6th inning, when third baseman Anthony Rendon hit a leadoff double and left fielder Juan Soto singled to drive in Rendon, but Buehler got out of the inning without further damage on a double play and a strikeout, and the inning ended with Los Angeles leading 3-1. The Nationals again pressed Buehler in the 7th inning. Suzuki led off, and Buehler's 4th pitch ricocheted off his wrist and hit him in the face, a frightening turn of events that forced him to leave the game escorted by the Nationals training staff. Yan Gomes came in to pinch run for him and took over the catching duties. Trea Turner then drew a 2-out walk, and Dodgers manager Dave Roberts decided to take Buehler out of the game. Buehler left having thrown 117 pitches, giving up 4 hits and 3 walks while striking out 7 in 6 + 2/3 innings. Roberts brought in ace starter Clayton Kershaw to relieve Buehler, and Kershaw got out of the inning by striking out Eaton. When he returned to the mound to pitch the 8th inning, however, he faltered and the Nationals' fortunes began to turn around. Rendon led off with a line drive homer to center on Kershaw's second pitch of the inning to make the score 3-2 and quiet the crowd, and on Kershaw's next pitch Soto hit a towering 449-foot 137 home run, the longest of his career at the time, into the right center field stands, tying the game at 3-3. Kent Meter relieved Kershaw and ended the inning on 3 consecutive strikeouts. Corbin pitched the bottom of the 8th, allowing only 1 base runner when he hit third baseman Justin Turner with a pitch. Joe Kelly, who had been ineffective in his Game 3 appearance, pitched the top of the 9th for Los Angeles with far greater success and struck out the side. In the bottom of the 9th, Nationals reliever Daniel Hudson gave up a 1-out single to Enrique Hernandez, and in the next at-bat Dodgers catcher Will Smith hit a deep fly ball to right field that prompted Dodgers players to emerge from their dugout in anticipation of celebrating a 2-run homer and a walk-off win, but instead the ball settled into Eaton's glove deep. Los Angeles did not score, and the game went into extra innings, still tied at 3-3. Roberts opted to have Kelly return to the mound to pitch the top of the 10th inning. Kelly walked Eaton to begin the inning, then gave up a ground rule double to Rendon that advanced Eaton to third. The Dodgers then intentionally walked Soto, and second baseman Howie Kendrick came to the plate with no outs and the bases loaded. Kendrick was 0 for -4 in the game, and had had a difficult division series, going 4-4-19, 211, making a base-running error in Game 3, hitting into a rally-killing double play in Game 4, and committing 3 errors in the field, 2 of them in Game 1 and 1 earlier in Game 5, but after fouling off Kelly's first, only the second postseason extra inning grand slam in MLB history. It gave the Nationals a 7-3 lead and prompted Los Angeles fans to start heading for the exits. After Kelly also gave up a one-out single to Gomes, Roberts was roundly booed by the Los Angeles home crowd when he appeared on the field to take Kelly out of the game. Kenley Jansen relieved Kelly and got the final 2 outs. In the bottom of the 10th, Dodgers hitters faced Sean Doolittle, who pitched a perfect inning, the game ending on a spectacular diving catch in shallow center field by Michael A. Taylor to retire Justin Turner for the 3rd out. The Nationals won the game 7-3 and the series 3-2. For the first time since arriving in Washington in 2005, and only the second time in Montreal, Washington franchise history, the team won a playoff series. It was also the first time a Washington, D.C. MLB team had won a postseason series since the original Washington Senators won the 1924 World Series. The Nationals became the first team in MLB history to come from 3 or more runs behind to win an elimination game twice during the same postseason, and they advanced to the National League Championship Series to face the St. Louis Cardinals. Composite line score: 2019 NLDS 3-2. Washington Nationals defeated Los Angeles Dodgers. League Championship Series. Game 1, October 11, 8 p.m. EDT at Busch Stadium in St. Louis, Missouri. Missouri, 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 making the franchise's first National League Championship Series appearance as the Washington Nationals and only its second NLCS appearance other than one by the Montreal Expos in 1981. The Nationals traveled to face the St. Louis Cardinals in Game 1. Daniel Hudson, who had emerged as a reliable late-inning reliever and closer for the Nationals, was on paternity leave in Phoenix, Arizona, for the birth of his daughter and missed the game. He was the first MLB player ever to go on paternity leave during the postseason, and the media wondered aloud about how his absence might affect Washington's often shaky bullpen. Starting center fielder Victor Robles, still nursing a hamstring injury he had suffered in Game 2 of the division series, missed his 4th straight game, and catcher Kurt Suzuki, who was recovering from being hit in the wrist and face by a pitch in Game 5 of the division series, also was out of the lineup. Washington's big 3 starters Max Scherzer, Steven Strasburg, and Patrick Corbin had seen heavy use so far in the postseason, so Nationals manager Dave Martinez rested them and put No. 4 starter Anibal Sanchez on the mound to face the Cardinals. It was the 9th postseason start of Sanchez's career, but he had pitched only 5 innings over the previous 15 days. A pitcher's duel ensued. Sanchez pitched a masterpiece, retiring the first 10 batters he faced with his first 35 pitches, allowing no Cardinal to reach base for 4+2/3 innings when he finally walked second baseman Colton Wong with 2 outs in the 5th inning. Wong stole second and advanced to third on a throwing error by catcher Yan Gomes, but did not score. Sanchez threw 17 pitches in the 1st inning, but then only 7 in the 2nd inning, 10 in the 3rd, 11 in the 4th, and 11 in the 5th. Sanchez did not allow another base runner until the 6th inning, when he hit pinch hitter Randy Arozarena with a pitch. Another St. Louis scoring threat developed that inning when Arozarena advanced to third on a groundout by center fielder Dexter Fowler, but Arozarena was stranded at third base. The Cardinals did not reach base again until Sanchez hit catcher Yadier Molina with a pitch in the 7th inning. Sanchez pitched a no-hitter for 7+2/3 innings, helped by a spectacular diving grab first baseman Ryan Zimmerman made that robbed right fielder Tommy Edman of a hit on a hard liner to lead off the eighth inning. When pinch hitter Jose Martinez finally broke up the no-hit bid with a single with 2 outs in the eighth on Sanchez's 103rd pitch, Dave Martinez took Sanchez out of the game, and as he headed for the dugout, Sanchez made the sportsmanlike gesture of congratulating Jose Martinez as he stood at first base by pointing to him and clapping his hands. The St. Louis crowd recognized Sanchez's achievement with a courteous ovation as he left the field. In Sanchez's 103-pitch outing, he had given up 1 hit and 1 walk, thrown 67 strikes, and struck out 5 Cardinals. He left the game having allowed just 1 run in the 12+2/3 innings he had pitched in the 2019 postseason. He became the first pitcher in MLB history to start 2 postseason games with 6 hitless innings, his previous hitless 6-inning postseason start having come with the Detroit Tigers against the New York Yankees in Game 1 of the 2013 American League Championship Series. Although they never got a big hit to break the game open and left 13 runners on base, the Nationals' offense put far more pressure on the Cardinals' pitchers. After second baseman Howie Kendrick doubled off St. Louis starter Miles McCollis to lead off the second inning, catcher Yan Gomes doubled with 2 outs to drive in Kendrick and give Washington a 1-0 lead. Their next scoring threat against McCollis came in the 5th inning, when Gomes led off with a single. Shortstop Trea Turner singled with 1 out and Gomes advanced to second, and third baseman Anthony Rendon drew a 2-out walk to load the bases, but McCollis got left fielder Juan Soto to ground out to end the inning, grabbing his crotch briefly in Soto's. In the 6th inning, Zimmerman doubled with 1 out, and the Cardinals intentionally walked Gomes with 2 outs, but the inning ended when Sanchez struck out. McCollis left the game after the 6th, having allowed 1 run on 7 hits and a walk, striking out 7 and throwing 98 pitches. The Nationals added to their lead in the 7th inning. Right fielder Adam Eaton hit a 1-out triple off reliever Giovanni Gallegos, and the Cardinals intentionally walked Rendon. Andrew Miller relieved Gallegos and struck out Soto. John Brevia then came into the game to face Kendrick. Zimmerman then walked to load the bases, but center fielder Michael A. Taylor flied out to end the inning. The Nationals threatened again in the 9th, when Soto singled off Tyler Webb with 2 outs and advanced to second on a wild pitch by closer Carlos Martinez. St. Louis then intentionally walked Kendrick, but Martinez struck out Zimmerman to end the inning. Meanwhile, Sean Doolittle entered the game in the 8th inning in relief of Sanchez and pitched 1+1/3 perfect innings for his first postseason save since 2017, striking out left fielder Marcell Ozuna with his last pitch. Sanchez got his first postseason win since his 6th-inning no-hit outing for the Tigers in Game 1 of the 2013 ALCS, and the Nationals won 2-0 and took a 1-0 series lead. Game 2, October 12. Game 3, October 14. 7:38 p.m. EDT at Nationals Park in Washington, D.C. Game 3, the first League Championship Series game ever held in Washington, D.C., again featured a contest between 2 ace pitchers, with Jack Flaherty taking the ball for St. Louis and Steven Strasburg on the mound for Washington. Many observers anticipated another pitcher's duel. Flaherty had posted an MLB best 0.91 ERA in the 16 regular season starts had made since the 2019 All-Star break, and including the 2 postseason games he had started, his ERA stood at 1.13 and his opponent's batting average at 151. Strasburg had a career ERA of 1.32 in 34 postseason games. After sports entertainment announcer Michael Buffer, serving as the pregame guest announcer, gave his trademark cry "Let's get ready to rumble," Strasburg took the mound. He gave up a leadoff double to left fielder Marcell Ozuna in the 2nd inning, but grabbed a grounder by the next batter he faced, right fielder Jose Martinez, charged toward Ozuna, who was caught between second and third base, and tagged him out to erase the scoring threat. He faced another threat in the 4th inning, when Ozuna and Martinez hit back to to back two-out singles, but he got out of the inning on a fly out by catcher Yadier Molina. He finally gave up a run in his final inning of work when Martinez and Molina led off with consecutive singles, and shortstop Paul DeJong singled with one out, allowing Martinez to score on a throwing error by left fielder Juan Soto that occurred when Soto slipped while attempting to throw the ball into the infield. Strasburg then completed his outing with two consecutive strikeouts. He left the game having thrown 117 pitches, the most he had thrown in a single game since a 118-pitch outing in May 2017, 84 of them for strikes, giving up 7 hits, walking no one, and striking out 12 Cardinals. The crowd gave him a standing ovation as he walked to the dugout. The Nationals had a big lead by the time Strasburg left the game. Flaherty allowed only a walk in his first 2 innings of work, but the Nationals' offense struck in the 3rd inning. After center fielder Victor Robles, making his first appearance since injuring his hamstring in Game 2 of the division series, led off with a single and advanced to second on a Strasburg sacrifice bunt, right fielder Adam Eaton hit a 2-out single that drove in Robles. Third baseman Anthony Rendon followed with a double that scored Eaton all the way from first base. After Soto walked, second baseman Howie Kendrick doubled, scoring Rendon and Soto, and the 3rd inning ended with Washington ahead 4-0. Flaherty left the game after the 4th inning, giving up 5 hits and 2 walks on 78 pitches, striking out 6. The 4 runs he allowed were the most since July 2. Washington added to its lead in the 5th inning. Facing St. Louis reliever Tyler Webb, Rendon singled with 1 out. With 2 outs, John Brevier relieved Webb and faced Kendrick, who doubled again, driving in Rendon. First baseman Ryan Zimmerman followed immediately with another double that scored Kendrick, and Washington led 6-0. In the bottom of the 6th inning, Robles led off with a homer off Brevier that extended the lead to 7-0. With the score at 7-1 in the top of the 7th inning, Kendrick hit a 2-out double off reliever Daniel Ponce de Leon, and Zimmerman followed with a single that scored Kendrick, giving the Nationals an 8-1 lead. By the time the inning was over, Kendrick had driven in 8 runs in 4 games. During Game 3, he also became only the 4th player to hit 3 doubles in a League Championship Series game. Ponce de Leon allowed only 1 more base runner when he walked shortstop Trea Turner in the 8th inning, but Fernando Rodney and Tanner Rainey pitched perfect 8th and 9th innings, respectively, and Washington came away with an 8-1 victory. The Nationals had scored 7 of their runs with 2 outs. Strasburg got the win, and his evening ended with him having gone 3-0 in the 2019 postseason with a 1.64 ERA, 33 strikeouts, and 1 walk in 22 innings of work. His win total for the regular season and postseason combined reached 21. Washington's starting pitchers had limited St. Louis to 2 runs and 11 hits and posted an ERA of 0.0 during the first 3 games of the series, giving up 3 walks and striking out 28 Cardinals in 21 plus 2/3 innings pitched. Winners of 15 of their last 17 games, the Nationals took a 3-0 lead in the series and had a chance to clinch a berth in the 2019 World Series the following evening. Game 4, October 15, 8 p.m. EDT at Nationals Park in Washington, D.C. After Washington Mystics small forward Alina Del Don threw the ceremonial first pitch in honor of the Mystics' first Women's National Basketball Association Championship, which the Mystics had won 5 days earlier, Game 4 got underway with Patrick Corbin on the mound for Washington and Dakota Hudson starting for St. Louis. The first inning decided the outcome. After Corbin struck out the side in the top of the inning, Hudson ran into trouble immediately in the bottom of the first. Shortstop Trea Turner led off with a single, then advanced to third when right fielder Adam Eaton doubled. After third baseman Anthony Rendon drove in Turner with a sacrifice fly, left fielder Juan Soto doubled to score Eaton. The Cardinals then intentionally walked second baseman Howie Kendrick. In the next at-bat, First baseman Ryan Zimmerman hit a grounder to Cardinals third baseman Tommy Edman, but second baseman Colton Wong dropped Edman's throw to second, resulting in all the runners advancing safely, and center fielder Victor Robles coming to bat with the bases loaded. Robles singled on a ball to right field that fell into the grass between Wong, first baseman Paul Goldschmidt, and right fielder Jose Martinez when they failed to communicate about who would make the catch. Soto scored on the play, and the other runners moved up. Catcher Yan Gomes then hit a bases-loaded single that scored Kendrick and Zimmerman and advanced Robles to second. With the Nationals holding a 5-0 lead, St. Louis manager Mike Shildt took Hudson, who had thrown only 15 pitches, out of the game and brought in starter Adam Wainwright in relief. After Corbin advanced Robles and Gomes to third and second, respectively, with a sacrifice bunt, Wainwright gave up a single to Turner that scored both Robles and Gomes before Eaton lined out to end the inning. Sending 11 men to the plate, the Nationals had jumped out to a 7-0 lead without hitting a ball any farther than 275 feet 84 m in the air, and Dakota Hudson was charged with all 7 runs, 4 of them earned on 5 hits and a walk in only a third of an inning of work. After St. Louis' disastrous first inning, the Cardinals' pitching staff pitched effectively. Wainwright allowed no base runners in the second inning, and Ryan Helsley gave up only a walk while pitching the third and fourth innings. Meanwhile, facing a long climb back to avoid elimination, the Cardinals' offense began to put pressure on Corbin, reaching base for the first time in the third inning when Wong singled and Edman walked, although they did not score. In the fourth, Cardinals catcher Yadier Molina hit a 408-foot 124 homer over the center field wall to make the score 7-1. St. Louis hitters had their best inning of the entire series in the fifth. Edman then grounded out, but in the process drove in Bader. With 1 out, Martinez doubled, scoring both Wong and Fowler, and the Cardinals closed to 7-4. Corbin then completed his outing by extinguishing the St. Louis rally with consecutive strikeouts. He left the game after the inning after throwing 94 pitches, giving up 4 runs on 4 hits and 3 walks, but striking out 12. He became the first pitcher in MLB history to strike out 10 batters in the first 4 innings of a postseason game. Both bullpens pitched the next 2 innings without much trouble. In the 6th and 7th, St. Louis reliever Giovanni Gallegos pitched 1-hit shootout ball. In the 8th inning, Doolittle came back out and retired the first 2 batters he faced before giving up a 2-out single to left fielder Marcell Ozuna. Daniel Hudson relieved Doolittle, and a St. Louis scoring threat developed when he hit Molina with a pitch and walked shortstop Paul DeJong to load the bases before he got pinch hitter Matt Carpenter, a career 481 hitter, with the bases loaded to ground out to end the inning. After Cardinals reliever Andrew Miller retired all 3 Nationals he faced in the bottom of the 8th inning, Daniel Hudson returned to the mound to pitch a perfect 9th. On the 94th birthday of Ted Lerner, who had served as managing principal owner of the Nationals from 2006 to 2018, the Nationals won 7-4 to sweep the 2019 NLCS and win the first National League pennant in the history of both the Montreal-Washington franchise and Washington, D.C., as well as Washington, D.C. The Nationals advanced to the World Series for the first time in Montreal-Washington franchise history, and a Washington, D.C. MLB team earned a World Series berth for the first time since the original Senators reached the series in 1933. Outscoring the Cardinals 26 in the NLCS, the 2019 Nationals became only the 4th team in MLB history to reach the World Series after falling to 12 games below .500 during the regular season. Since hitting that low point with a record of 1931 on May 23, they had posted the best record in MLB 82-40, a .672 winning percentage through the final game of the NLCS, with fans chanting "Howie, Howie" from the stands and his teammates giving him a standing ovation. Howie Kendrick received the 2019 National. In Game 3, He had gone 3 for -4 with 3 RBI and had become only the fourth player to hit 3 doubles in a league championship series game. For the series as a whole, he went 5 for -15, 333 at the plate with 4 doubles and 4 RBI, and he scored 4 runs. Composite line score: 2019 NLCS 4-0 Washington Nationals defeated St. Louis Cardinals. World Series Game 1 October 22, 8 p.m. EDT at Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas. While a watch party took place on a wet night at Nationals Park in Washington, Game 1 was played at Minute Maid Park in Houston as the Nationals faced the heavily favored Houston Astros in the first World Series game in Montreal, Washington franchise history, and the first World Series game in Washington, D.C. baseball history since the Washington Senators played the Jarrett Cole, who had not lost a game since May 22, winning 19 games over 25 starts since then, leading the major leagues in strikeouts in 2019, started for Houston, and on his second pitch gave up a leadoff single to shortstop Trea Turner, who then stole second base, Washington's first stolen base attempt of the 2019 postseason. Max Scherzer started for the Nationals and walked the Astros leadoff hitter, center fielder George Springer, followed by a single to second baseman Jose Altuve and 2 out, bases clearing double to first baseman Yuli Gurriel that gave Houston a 2-0 lead after 1 inning. With a rapidly mounting pitch count and Houston's offense keeping up pressure on Nats pitchers all evening, he finished his outing with a perfect fifth inning that concluded with a strikeout. He left the game after throwing 112 pitches, 65 of them for strikes, and giving up 5 hits and 3 walks, striking out 7. The Nationals began a comeback in the second inning on a 2-out, 413-foot 126 solo homer by first baseman Ryan Zimmerman, the first World Series home run in both Nationals and franchise history. In the fourth inning, left fielder Juan Soto tied the game at 2-2 on a leadoff 417-foot 127 homer. The Nationals broke the tie in the fifth inning when catcher Kurt Suzuki led off with a walk. Center fielder Victor Robles singled, advancing Suzuki to second, and Suzuki tagged and advanced to third on a Turner lineout. Right fielder Adam Eaton then singled, driving in Suzuki to give the Nationals a 3-2 lead and advancing Robles to second. After third baseman Anthony Rendon grounded into a fielder's choice that advanced Robles to third, Soto hit a 2-out double that scored both Robles and Rendon and stretched Washington's lead to 5-2. Houston shortstop Carlos Correa finally brought the inning to an end by robbing designated hitter Howie Kendrick of a single on a hardliner. Patrick Corbin pitched a 1-hit top of the sixth inning for Washington, and Cole pitched through the top of the seventh, leaving the game with 104 pitches, 74 strikes, with 6 strikeouts and a walk, and having allowed 8 hits. The Astros made a comeback bid of their own beginning in the seventh inning, when Tanner Rainey came in to pitch for the Nationals. Rainey gave up a leadoff 428-foot 130 homer to Springer, setting a new record by hitting a homer in 5 straight World Series games, followed by 2 one-out walks. Daniel Hudson relieved him, and although Houston loaded the bases, got out of the inning without further damage and Washington holding a 5-3 lead. The Astros threatened to tie the game in the eighth inning, when pinch hitter Kyle Tucker led off with a single, tagged and advanced to second on a fly out, and scored on a 1-out Springer double that narrowly missed going over the fence to reduce Washington's lead to 1 run. After Altuve flied out, however, Sean Doolittle relieved Hudson and closed the game with a perfect final 1+1/3 innings. The Nationals won 5 for their 17th win in 19 games dating back into the regular season to stretch their postseason winning streak to 7 games and take a 1-0 lead in the World Series. Game 2, October 23, 7 p.m. EDT at Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas. Game 2 saw another meeting of 2 dominating pitchers, with Justin Verlander on the mound for Houston and Steven Strasburg for Washington. Each of them allowed 2 runs in the first inning. After Verlander walked Washington's leadoff hitter, shortstop Trea Turner, on 4 pitches and gave up a single to right fielder Adam Eaton, third baseman Anthony Rendon doubled to score both of them and give the Nationals a 2-0 lead before Verlander recorded his first out. In the bottom of the inning, Strasburg gave up a 1-out double to second baseman Jose Altuve, but that scoring threat dissipated when catcher Kurt Suzuki cut Altuve down as he tried to steal third. With 2 outs, however, left fielder Michael Brantley singled and third baseman Alex Bregman hit a 411-foot 125 homer to left that tied the game at 2-2. The game remained tied through the end of the 6th inning. In the second inning, Verlander struck out center fielder Victor Robles for his 200th career postseason strikeout, a new MLB record. He scattered 4 hits and a walk, the Nationals posing a scoring threat only when left fielder Juan Soto doubled with 2 outs in the third inning. The Astros lineup put more pressure on Strasburg. In the third inning, Altuve reached first on a 2-out Turner throwing error and advanced to third when Brantley singled, but neither of them scored. In the fourth inning, designated hitter Jordan Alvarez singled with 1 out and reached second on a ground out, but was stranded there. In the sixth inning, first baseman Yuli Gurriel hit a 1-out double and the Nationals intentionally walked the hot-hitting Alvarez, but Strasburg got out of the inning on a pop-out and a strikeout. It completed his outing, and he exited the game after giving up 7 hits and a walk and striking out 7 Astros on 114 pitches, 77 of them for strikes. The Nationals finally broke the tie in the 7th inning when Suzuki led off and homered. Verlander then walked Robles, and Astros manager A.J. Hinch took him out of the game after he had thrown 107 pitches, 69 for strikes, giving up 4 hits and 3 walks and striking out 6 Nats. He left the field with an MLB record 202 career postseason strikeouts. Ryan Presley came in to pitch and walked Turner, after which Eaton advanced Robles to third and Turner to second with a sacrifice bunt. After Rendon flied out, Houston intentionally walked Soto, the first intentional walk Houston had issued all season to load the bases and bring designated hitter Howie Kendrick to the plate. Kendrick beat out an infield single which scored Robles, extending the Nationals' lead to 4-2. Second baseman Asdrubal Cabrera singled, scoring Turner and Soto, making the lead 6-2. After Kendrick and Cabrera advanced to third and second, respectively, on a Presley wild pitch, first baseman Ryan Zimmerman reached first on an infield single and advanced to second on a throwing error by Bregman. Kendrick and Cabrera scoring on the play to make the score 8-2. Many Astros fans headed for the exits at Minute Maid Park. After Fernando Rodney pitched a scoreless bottom of the 7th, the Nationals returned to the plate in the 8th. Robles led off and struck out, but reached first base on a passed ball. Eaton hit a 1-out homer, scoring Robles and extending the lead to 10-2. With 2 outs, Soto walked, Kendrick singled, and Cabrera singled, scoring Soto to make the score 11-2. Tanner Rainey pitched a perfect bottom of the 8th, and Washington scored a final run when Michael A. Taylor, who had replaced Robles in center field, hit the first pitch he saw over the left field wall, a 1-out homer that gave Washington a 12-2 lead. In the bottom of the 9th, Houston catcher Martin Maldonado hit a 1-out, 409-foot 125 homer off reliever J.V. Guerra to make the score 12-3. 2 more Astros reached base in the 9th before Guerra induced a game-ending ground-out. Strasburg was credited with the win, making him 4-0 in the 2019 postseason, while Verlander's career World Series record fell to 0-5. Winners of 8 games in a row and 18 of their last 20, the Nationals won to take a 2-0 lead in the World Series, with the next game scheduled for 2 nights later at Nationals Park. Game 3, October 25, 7 p.m. EDT at Nationals Park in Washington, D.C. Game 3 was played at Nationals Park against the Houston Astros. It was the first World Series game ever played at Nationals Park, and the first World Series game played in Washington, D.C. since October 7, 1933. The Astros won the game with 6 pitchers combining to limit the Nationals to just 1 run. Game 4, October 26. 8:07 p.m. EDT at Nationals Park in Washington, D.C. The Houston Astros won their second straight game to even the series, with rookie Jose Urquidy outdueling Nationals left-hander Patrick Corbin for the win. Alex Bregman hit a grand slam in the 7th inning off veteran reliever Fernando Rodney. Game 5, October 27, T7, 8:07 p.m. EDT at Nationals Park in Washington, D.C. The Houston Astros defeated the Nationals to take a 3-2 lead in the World Series. Game 6, October 29, 8:07 p.m. EDT at Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas. With a chance to clinch victory in the World Series, the Houston Astros were instead overmatched by Nationals starter Steven Strasburg, who outdueled Justin Verlander behind key home runs from Adam Eaton, Anthony Rendon, and Juan Soto to even the series. Verlander gave up a first-inning run on an RBI single by Rendon. Despite falling behind in the bottom of the first, after a Jose Altuve sacrifice fly that tied the game was followed by a home run by Alex Bregman, who carried his bat past first base after admiring the blast into the Crawford boxes in left field. They tied it on a solo home run by Eaton. A batter later, Soto homered deep to right field, then mimicked Bregman by carrying his bat nearly all the way to first base before dropping it. In the 7th inning, Trea Turner was controversially called out for interference as home plate umpire Sam Holbrook ruled that he prevented first baseman Yuli Gurriel from cleanly catching a throw from Brad Peacock. Manager Dave Martinez attempted to play the rest of the game under protest, but after conferring with the replay center, the umpires disallowed the protest. Martinez was subsequently ejected for continuing to argue. Although the call forced base runner Yan Gomes to return to first base, Rendon picked up Turner by smashing a 2-run home run to left field off reliever Will Harris, giving the Nationals a 3-run lead. Rendon doubled in 2 more in the 9th inning, giving the Nationals their 7-2 victory. It was the 4th elimination game in the 2019 postseason that the Nationals won despite trailing at one point in the game, the first time in Major League play of history that had happened. Game 7, October 30, 8:07 p.m. EDT at Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas. Having gone the distance in the World Series, the Nationals and the Houston Astros met for the deciding game in front of an Astros home crowd. Houston starter Zach Greinke effectively shut down the Nationals for 6 innings, as meanwhile, a visibly laboring Max Scherzer grinded through a 5-inning, 2-run start, giving up a home run in the 2nd inning to Yuli Gurriel and an RBI single to Carlos Correa in the 5th inning. However, Anthony Rendon cut the Astros' lead in half with a 7th-inning home run off Greinke, and after Juan Soto drew a walk, Astros manager A.J. Hinch took Greinke out of the game in favor of reliever Will Harris. Designated hitter Howie Kendrick greeted Harris by launching a 0-1 pitch down and away, lining it off the right field foul pole for a go-ahead 2-run home run. Kendrick's home run was later graded as one of the 10 biggest hits in MLB postseason history, swinging the Nationals from decided underdogs in the game to clear favorites. The Nationals held on behind 3 strong innings from Game 4 starter Patrick Corbin, who took over from Scherzer in relief. Soto and Adam Eaton padded the lead with RBI singles in the 8th and 9th innings, respectively, giving Washington closer Daniel Hudson a 4-run lead to work with in the bottom of the 9th. Hudson retired the side in order, striking out Jose Altuve and Michael Brantley. With the win, the Nationals also achieved a number of other firsts. Steven Strasburg became the first #1 overall draft pick to be named World Series MVP with the team that drafted him. Strasburg became the first pitcher to post a win-loss record of 5-0 in the postseason. The Nationals improved their record in 2019 postseason games started by Strasburg and Scherzer to 10-0, a record for a team behind two starting pitchers. The Nationals became the first team in World Series history to win all 4 games on the road. The Nationals also set a record for the worst record through the first 50 games of the season, 1931, by a championship team. The Nationals accomplished something no other championship team had done by winning 5 elimination games despite trailing at one point in each of them. The Nationals furthermore became the first team in Major League history to win the World Series by defeating 2 teams that had won 105 or more games, the 106-win Los Angeles Dodgers and the 107-win Houston Astros, during the regular season.